Hey there, everyone. Video Game Cabinet here, and tonight we're doing my final list of the best game of each generation. This time I'm going to be doing my top 35 favorite games of both the 8th and ninth generations combined. Um, there is so much crossover between the 8th and ninth, and the ninth is the one that we're currently in. It's still going on. That I'm just going to combine both generations into one list. According to Wikipedia, technically the 8th generation is PlayStation 4, 3DS, Switch, and then Generation 9 is the PS5, not the Switch, but the Switch is still going and very much a competitor with PS5. So I'm just going to include 8 and 9 together, and that's going to be PS4, PS5, Switch, and 3DS. I don't own an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, so any exclusives on those systems I haven't played. Um, these are games that I have beaten from start to end credits. Again, just like before, we're not including reskins or compilations here. I will include drastic enough remakes, so something like Shadow of the Colossus or Last of Us Part 1 on PS5 as a reskin. Those are not going to count. You won't see them on this list. Um, and again, just like before, this list will be massaged over time. It's not perfect. My taste changes. Right now, it's October of 2023. And these are my top 35 favorite games of the 8th and ninth generation. Number 35, I'm giving to Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. This was a fantastic use of the Spider-Man license. They did a great job with the story. It doesn't focus too much on his origins. Like when you start, I love how Peter and Mary Jane have already had a relationship, and she's there as his friend now, and he's already established as Spider-Man. And the gameplay was really good. It's open world. The web slinging across the buildings, it controls like a dream. It's perfect. There's really fun stealth segments, and the combat, it's inspired by the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time combat that wasn't very good in that game, but it's much better here. The free-flowing style here is much more polished, much faster paced. They did a great job with this game, and it does deserve the commercial success that it got. Number 34, I'm giving to Street Fighter V on PS4. I thought this was another fantastic entry in the amazing Street Fighter series. I don't know what, like some people had a problem with it because it shipped incomplete, but they released content throughout the life cycle of the game. The fighting system was brilliant. I love the new character Rashid. I used him a lot. I had a lot of fun with this. I dumped a ton of hours into this online, I thought they did a great job with it overall, and I really loved it. Number 33, I'm giving to Deathloop on PS5. This was something really unique. It was a mix of Groundhog Day meets James Bond in this really, really well done first-person shooter with a bit of roguelike elements. I love how the day repeats itself, but you have to do all these different tasks to make everything flow perfectly. And there's a big learning curve here, but I thought it was a really fun game. I enjoyed it. Very unique title. Number 32, I'm giving to the Dead Space remake on PlayStation 5. This was a fantastic remake and update to the original back on the PlayStation 3. Isaac talks in this one. There's little story beats that change here and there. There's little side quests you can do. And they completely revamped the anti-gravity segments. And it's really well done. I thought they did a great job with this. And it reminded me of how great the original was. But this was great on its own at the same time. And it was just a really, really good remake. Number 31, I'm giving to Ghost Runner on PlayStation 5. I love first-person parkour games like this, and in this one, you're this kind of robot ninja with the samurai sword, And this game was fast, it was beautiful, it's got a really cool techno soundtrack, super challenging. There's tons of checkpoints though, so it never gets too frustrating, but this game is really, really hard. I loved every second of it, and I can't wait to play the sequel that's coming out soon. But yeah, this game on its own was just a glorious action game. Number 30, I'm giving to both Shantae and the Pirate's Curse and Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I love the Shantae games. I haven't played part 2 and 4, but I played the original on the Game Boy Color, and now I've played part 3 and 5 here. I love them all equally. Specifically, Pirate's Curse. That game had really great music, and towards the end, it has some of the most challenging platforming you've seen. It gets really tight, and Shantae and the Seven Sirens is a little bit longer, and I love the music here as well. I love the abilities that you find. Both games have really awesome Metroidvania open world type worlds to explore, and I thought they did a great job with both of these games. I can't really pick between them. I love them both equally. Number 29, I'm giving to the Resident Evil 2 remake on PS4. This is a textbook example of how to do a remake of an older classic. This is just a complete reimagination of the original Resident Evil 2 on PS1. The camera is now behind the people, and the graphics are completely redone. Everything is so different, but still just pays respect to the original vision. And I played through both campaigns here with both characters, and it was just such an amazing, scary, thrilling experience, and it's just an amazing, amazing remake. Number 28, I'm giving to Titanfall 2 on PS4. This game really took me by surprise. It had an amazing single-player campaign. Where there's a really great bond between you, the pilot, and your mech titan robot, and just really epic fights, action. There's a great segment in the middle where you're swapping two different time periods with your watch, and there's no load time. Super impressive game, super impressive graphics, and a lot of technical features that really made this a standout title. Number 27, I'm giving to Sifu, that I played on PlayStation 5. God, this is absolutely one of the best and most unique beat-em-ups ever made. It's got a brilliant idea where every time you die, you age a year or a few, and the older that you get, the less stamina that you have compared to when you're in your 20s. But the more power that you have when you hit, the harder you hit. So by the time you're in your 70s, you punch really hard, but you don't have much stamina. And it's just a brilliant idea, super unique, super, super challenging. This game was hard, man. Let me tell you, quite the accomplishment to finally beat this game. There's only 5 levels, but it is a meaty adventure. Let me tell you, it'll take you a while. Lots of practice. Really, really great game here. Number 26, I'm giving to the Forgotten City that I played on PlayStation 5. Wow, this is another one that took me by surprise. Right from the start, it pulled me right in. You go into this portal right at the beginning of the game, and you get sent back to this small little Roman city. And at first, when I heard about it, I thought I was wondering if it was going to be boring, but oh no, this game sucked me right in. The characters, the writing, all their little stories. This is another Groundhog Day game, just like Deathloop, that just does the idea brilliantly, and it's so addicting to keep on repeating the day and just get everything perfect and find out what happens to everybody. And there's multiple endings, and I believe there's 4 endings. I got all of them, and it was just really an outstanding, impressive little gem that I did not expect. Number 25, I'm giving to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I thought these were both great. I also loved the original on the Wii, and I thought all 3 games were pretty equal. I love the character, specifically talking about these two. I love the characters in both. If you push me, I guess I might say that the third one is my favorite in the trilogy. But all three are really close. These two are really close. I played the DLC for both as well. Um, I love Rex and Pyra in part two, but in part three, Neo or Noah and Mio were fantastic leads, and the villain N was just one of the best villains in any of these games. But both games told a really good story. Xenoblade 2, I loved how the ending connected really well to the first game and how everything started with the scientist. And Xenoblade 3 just had some really, really emotional beats around the middle of the game with a lot of dramatic flair and a jaw-dropping plot twist around the middle of the game that just really took me by surprise with one of the villains. But yeah, both of these games were fantastic. I love both of them. I thought they were both great RPGs, and Monolith Soft did a great job with them. Number 24, I'm giving to Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 5, not the PS4 version. I played a little bit of the PS4 version, but I thought the system was really underpowered to handle the ambitious vision that this game has. And the PS5 version, the PS5 has the horsepower to handle the scope and the epicness of how great this game really is. I played through it last year, and I thought it was just brilliant. The story is excellent. This is like an old Kurosawa movie, and the beautiful landscapes are just gorgeous. The graphics are gorgeous on the PS5, and it's a big open world, but there's all these little characters that are so memorable with their own little stories, and you, the hero, have your main quest that you got to follow, and they just did a great job. The combat is simple, but it's addicting, and there's lots of other great elements here, and I just love this beautiful game. Number 23, I'm giving to Bayonetta 3. I beat this last year, and I thought it was another glorious action game in this wonderful series. The combat in these Bayonetta games is just so fast and fluid and deep. They just feel incredible. They look incredible. There's a bunch of chaos going on, and you're in complete control the whole time. This sequel introduces a lot of variety with summon spells and different characters that you can play as. But it's just a brilliant game through and through, with more variety this time, and I thought they did a great job with it. Number 22, I'm giving to Bloodborne. God, it's been a while since I popped this one in back in 2015 when I beat it, but I just remember it being a really, really challenging, awesome action title from the makers of Dark Souls. This is just another outstanding product by From Software that will kick your ass, and it's just got so much depth. This one I remember focusing more on pressing the attack rather than the dodging and the blocking in Dark Souls. But this was just another outstanding effort by them, and a really, really, really cool game with an amazing atmosphere and artistic tone that is not to be missed. Number 21, I'm giving to Metroid Dread on Switch. This was the best 2D Metroid we've had since Super Metroid. I thought it was outstanding. I didn't think there was much that they could do with the 2D part of the franchise, but I was wrong. They really mixed things up here. There's a lot less focus on the morph ball at first, and what they do with these robots following you is pretty cool, and it just had an amazing, epic ending. Oh, and another thing, the boss fights in here, my God, this is probably the hardest game in the series that I've played. They really, really did an incredible job with this one, and it really surprised me how incredible it was. Number 20, I'm giving to Neo 2. Man, I love the Neo games, and they are so brutal. This sequel here, super long quest. This took me 105 hours to run all the way through. This game is so brutal. The boss battles are epic as hell. These games, the Neo games, especially here number two, they have the best 3D combat sword play within these Dark Souls inspired games that you've ever seen. It just and really just some of the best damn feeling 3D combat around, period, in any game. The sword play is just so deep. The deepest sword play around, deepest, most technical sword play around that you've seen in an action adventure game. The RPG elements here are incredible. Just building up your characters, getting the loot. This game is so deep, so engrossing. Team Ninja did an amazing job. They also did the Ninja Gaiden games, so you know what they're all about. And this game is just such an epic journey that will really put your skills to the test. Number 19 is Hades. This was actually my first roguelike game that I played, and it was a fantastic introduction to the genre. It really eases you in really well, and it's just a super fun, deep, and devilishly addicting game that I could not put down. Just playing it over and over and over again. There's only a few levels, but man, this game is tough. And finally reaching Hades at the end was such an accomplishment. And yes, I did beat this game 10 times to get the true ending, and I loved every second of it. I loved all the different weapons you could get, especially the machine gun and the glove that you punch with. Those were my two favorite weapons. This game was just so deep, so engrossing. It really just showed me how incredible this genre could be, and I really love this game, and I look forward to part 2 coming out later next year. Number 18 is It Takes Two. Man, my wife and I had an absolute blast playing through this. So creative, so much variety. The platforming in this game is brilliant. Endless variety, endless creativity, long quest. We had so much fun playing this together. This is just probably the best co-op game ever that I can think of. The way that the husband and wife are completing the tasks together, and the story is really charming. It starts off pretty serious because it's all about the two married couple getting divorced, and they have a daughter, and it's really sad, but it's really joyous at the same time later. And the ending is just beautiful, and this game was just a big surprise that my wife and I adored. Number 17, I'm giving to Grand Theft Auto 5. I think this came out on the PS3 originally, but I didn't play it until it came out on the PS4 with the first-person view option. So that's why I'm counting it towards this generation. And this game was amazing. The original trilogy, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, on PS2 were brilliant games. Totally changed the face of gaming after that. GTA 4 I thought was a little bit boring because they had a lot of social aspects in there that kind of slowed down the game, and I didn't think the characters were as memorable as the others. But this one, GTA 5, was a real return to form. I loved all the new characters. Super memorable, a crazy story, long quest, tons of variety, huge game, mirrored after Santa Monica and Los Angeles. This game was incredible, and it's probably the best Grand Theft Auto game to date. They really did an amazing job with this game, and it just has amazing staying power, and is just a total blast to play from start to finish. Number 16, I'm giving to The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. This was a really neat idea in that it took A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo and made a direct sequel to it with the same world, just continued the story a little bit, and this was, I think, the best portable exclusive Zelda game ever.
I thought it was really cool the way you could blend into the walls and travel like a moving painting. And I remember there were a lot of different weapons that you could use to solve the different puzzles in the dungeons. And I just loved exploring the world in the original Link to the Past that is one of my favorite games of all time. And this was just an awesome direct sequel to that brilliant game, and this game was brilliant too. Number 15, I'm giving to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It was on PS4, but I played it on the PS5 where they improved the frame rate to 60 frames per second, which I think is very important for a very action-heavy game like this. But either way, this game was absolutely brilliant. I loved the focus on parrying, and stealth and everything else. From Software did a really good job with this and really mixes up the formula compared to Dark Souls and Bloodborne. This game plays a lot different. There's not any focus on grinding. You can unlock new abilities, but you really just have to get good in this game and really spam that parry, which is a lot of fun. The last few boss battles were super challenging. Oh my god, the final boss was really hard. He must have taken me, I don't know, 200 or 300 attempts, probably closer to 300. He was really tough. But I love this game. I thought it was really amazing. Another outstanding product from Software who just keeps on killing it. This game just really first class stuff. Number 14, I'm giving to Guilty Gear Strive on PS5. I am very new to the Guilty Gear series, and even this game, I really want to put more hours into it. I've gone through most of the training mode. I've beaten arcade mode, and I've gone online quite a bit, but I've gotten my butt kicked. I got to get better at this game. It plays way different than Street Fighter, but as is, I can still tell that this game is absolutely one of the best fighting games ever made. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous. Hand-drawn 2D. This game is so impressive. The action is bombastic. The fighting is super deep, super technical, but it's great anyway for a beginner like me who really wants to get into it, and I already am into it. This game is just incredible. It has sucked me right in. It has made me a fan. I am dying to play more of this and finally get good at it. But even when you're getting your butt kicked, this game, it's one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and I look forward to investing the same amount of time into this that I have into Street Fighter. And it's just, this is a masterpiece fighting game. Number 13, I am giving to Super Mario 3D World. I haven't played Bowser's Fury yet, but Super Mario 3D World, I have beaten the whole game with Luigi. I have beaten Champions Road, and my god, that was so hard. I would say that was almost as hard, if not just as hard, as the perfect run level in Mario Galaxy 2. But wow, the whole game overall is really challenging. I actually first played through most of it co-op with my wife. You can play up to 4-player co-op, which is really fun. But we played a lot of it 2-player co-op, and then I started over and played the whole thing single player, legit. And beat it legit all the way to Champions Road. This is just an amazing 3D platformer that is another incredible installment in this iconic franchise. It really does the Mario name justice. I loved the cat suit. I loved the variety, the creativity. This is just another outstanding entry in the Mario franchise, and I loved every second of it. I loved the challenge. It's definitely one of the more challenging games overall in the franchise, and it's just an outstanding essential Switch title. Number 12, I'm going with Gravity Rush 1 and 2. I actually beat these two games last year and I loved them, but the more that I thought about them, I was like, wow, those were really good. And I went back and I've actually been replaying them this month. I'm going to do a video review soon after this series. And they're even better than I remembered a year ago. I've gone back and I've done all the side missions and side quests in the first one, and I'm working on it in the second one, and just replaying both games from start to finish. Um, these games are really, really incredible, and they've only grown in quality for me over time. The more that I've thought about them, and they're just beautiful, dreamlike games where you control gravity. You zipping through the air is amazing. They're open world, but traveling and flying is so much fun. And the story here and the character Cat, the main character there, um, it's just a beautiful story with a lot of intrigue. And I'm really counting these in one slot because part one is maybe like a third of the size of part two, but it's very much an intro prologue to the story and ask a bunch of questions that are all tied up in Gravity Rush 2. That they really are very much a part one and a part two. Gravity Rush 2 really ties up and connects to part one just infinitely and perfectly. So I'm rating them as one game, one slot, and I'll talk more about them in my video review, but these were both really outstanding, very unique, very artistic, dreamlike experiences that are just incredible and very playable and very replayable. Number 11, I'm going to give to Nier Automata. This is the day one edition with autographs from the voice actors, and I also have the Game of Yora edition down there. I'm going based on memory here. I played this back in 2017 when it came out, and I thought it was an incredible action RPG that has an amazing philosophical tone about it. It takes place in the future when humanity has died out and everything is taken over by these robots, and the action was beautiful. The soundtrack was incredible in this game, and I love the story. I love the bond between the characters, and it's just an amazing, very, very unique title that really captured my imagination and has a somber atmosphere about it that is just beautiful. And it mixes up RPG and action elements with shmup segments, kind of like another one of my favorite games of all time, The Guardian Legend. This game is very unique and an absolute essential on the PlayStation 4. Number 10, close call, but I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy 16. I just beat and reviewed this game last month. I thought this game was an amazing epic. There's not too much teamwork between the party members during battles, and it's a lot of focus on action as opposed to more of the RPG elements of the genre. But as is, this was still a glorious RPG with a gripping story, epic, sweeping story. My God, this game's story and characters are really its strong suit. This is a real return to form for the series, and I was swept up in the narrative from start to end credits. There are so many scenes here with so much dramatic flair that hit you hard, and the voice acting is incredible. The characters are unforgettable. There are so many epic showdowns between the heroes and the villains that I can't stop rewatching some of the cutscenes on YouTube, and I thought this game was amazing, and it did have a really fun action battle system along with it, and I just thought that Square Enix did a really, really good job with this one. Number 9, I'm giving to Neo on PlayStation 4. The sequel was outstanding as well, but the first Neo is the one that really, really wowed me. This game takes a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls, but it's made by Team Ninja, who did the Ninja Gaiden games, and they really make their own game with the formula. And both Neo 1 and 2 have the best combat in any of these Dark Souls-inspired games. And This game took me 100 hours logged to beat. Um, th- this, at the time, and probably still is, overall the hardest game in all of these Dark Souls type games. I thought Dark Souls was tough, Bloodborne was tough, Demon Souls was tough, but this game blew them out of the water in terms of difficulty. I died so many times on almost all of the bosses, but I loved every second of it. This game is absolutely one of my favorites, and just the deep sword play, the different options that you have with the weapons and the stances, and this and the chi and the pulse and everything, like, oh my god, I cannot praise this game enough for just its beautiful 3D combat, and just how much it does for the genre, and how incredible it was. This game does not get enough recognition from some people, and I thought it was just a masterpiece. I thought, just incredible stuff. Number 8, I'm gonna go with Hollow Knight. Wow, I heard so much about this game, but before I played it, everyone was saying it was the best Metroidvania ever, and at first I was skeptical, but it really won me over by the end. This game really was an absolute masterpiece. My favorite Metroidvanias, I would still give the edge to Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid, but it's followed very closely by Hollow Knight. This game has the best combat in any Metroidvania ever, the best platforming, the biggest world in any Metroidvania ever. This took me 50 hours to run through. This is an epic, epic Metroidvania in every sense of the word. Just huge world, huge quest. The boss battles, probably the best in any Metroidvania ever, too. I can see why people say this is the best in the genre. It just incredible, engrossing adventure that you have to really get good to beat this game, and it's just such a beautiful, somber, atmospheric experience, and the music and everything is really good, sets the tone great, and it's just a beautiful game with beautiful animations with the characters, and the final boss battle with Radiance is one of the best final bosses I've ever seen, and it's just epic, and it's emotional, and I understand the hype now, and I celebrate with everyone in how great this game really was. And I look very forward to the sequel that's coming out soon, and this game was a masterpiece. I can't argue. It's definitely a masterpiece. Number 7, I am giving to Bayonetta 2. This is my favorite in the series. It's a real tough call between what has the best feeling 3D combat in any game ever. It's tough between this, the Neo games, and Ninja Gaiden on the original Xbox. But wow, yeah, for fast-paced 3D combat, this is about as good as it gets. The focus on witch time here compared to the first one, I loved it. The way everything is moving so fast and there's so much chaos, but you're in complete control. The way this game does that is better than any other game I've ever seen. And when you perfectly dodge an attack and it slows down into witch time, it is incredible. It feels like a dream, and it's just so frantic, so bombastic, so outrageous. Oh my god, I love this game. This is absolutely one of the best 3D action titles, one of the best action games ever made. It's a masterpiece. This game was just incredible, and absolutely a must-own on the Switch. I never played it on the Wii U, but wow, this game really just blew me away. Number 6, I'm giving to XCOM 2 that I played on PlayStation 4. I also have the collection down there with the War of the Chosen expansion that I haven't played yet, but this basic version, wow. I played the original XCOM UFO Defense on the PS1 back in the day, and I remember that being just one of the most amazing and engrossing adventures that I've ever seen. And This sequel, I didn't play the middle one, XCOM Enemy Unknown, but I jumped right into XCOM 2 here. And this just reminded me of how incredible that original game was. I love how in these games how you can name the characters whatever you want. So, and this one lets you pick different faces, so you can make them look like your friends and name them after your friends. And when one of your soldiers gets hurt or dies, it makes it very personal and really adds an extra touch to making this game so engrossing and so deep. Again, the turn-based tactical combat continues here, and it brings a sense of tension and dread that is undescribable, and I haven't seen in any other game, and the atmosphere is just as incredible as ever. This was an outstanding sequel that enthralled me from start to finish, and what was just such a sense of accomplishment when I finally reached the end and defeated the aliens. This game was a masterpiece, and I could not put it down while I was playing it. And it requires time and attention, and it's just it's a very, very good investment it just unlike anything else I've played before. Number 5, I'm giving to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This might actually rise higher in time when the second and third installments come out. This is really just the first third of the story in the original game, which is one of my favorite games of all time. It's probably my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, along with 6. But this remake is really close to those. They did an amazing job combining action elements with the turn-based system, and you can choose different characters and freeze time as the battles are going on, and choose which materia and magic to use, and attack with your sword at the same time and your weapons. I thought that this was amazing. I love the voice acting with all these iconic characters, and I don't know. And it's just a beautiful, gorgeous game. I can't wait to see how this remake series ties up when Rebirth comes out and the third one comes out. I think it's going to rise even higher on this list after that. And but as of now, just this game alone, they expanded so much of that first third of the story with Midgar, and just deepened everything, and developed the characters so much more. And I love these characters from the original and so much. These are some of my favorite characters in any game ever. And yeah, I just this game was a masterpiece and definitely lives up to the reputation of the iconic original. Number 4, I am giving to Elden Ring. Wow, this game was a masterpiece, a magnum opus in every sense of the word. It felt like Dark Souls mixed with Breath of the Wild, the way it was just this giant, beautiful open world. And my God, it does a great job of easing beginners to the genre into it. It starts off a little bit easier than the rest of these games, but I would say that the last quarter of the game is probably harder than any of these other games that I've played. Even the Neo games, just the final quarter of Elden Ring, I think had the hardest bosses in any of these. And wow, this game was just a masterpiece. Is really just this is a dictionary definition of what that word means, and just so beautiful. The combat is done really well. It is a lot like Dark Souls, but just further polished. And this game was just an amazing fantasy dream like adventure that will be talked about for years, and is just such a work of art, and so deep and so engrossing. I can't sing enough praises about it. You've heard all about it. It was the best game of the year when it came out, and it just, oh man, I can't talk enough about this game.
Number three, oh man, really, really tough call between this and Elden Ring as my favorite PS5 game. But for now, I'm gonna give the edge to Returnal, which is my number three game. Um, oh man, this game just this is wins my vote as hardest game I've ever beaten. This game was so difficult. This game broke me. Oh my god! But I eventually beat it legit, and oh my god. This was the second roguelike I played after Hades, and I'm glad I played that game first because I needed a little bit of an intro. This game really throws you into the deep end. This game is so freaking hard, but the sense of accomplishment, the sense of wonder and wow when you finally beat a boss or beat one of the biomes. Oh man, one of the levels. I can't describe the sense of foreboding, and the atmosphere is so thick and rich with this game. I know it is how foreboding Elden Ring felt, but this game to me felt even more foreboding and more just that sense of dread of what's coming next hit me so hard. And just the way the graphics looked and everything, and the shooting mechanics were just utter perfection, utter polish. And defeating a boss and getting through an entire level just felt, just unlike anything I've ever seen before. And the sense of wow and whoa when seeing what was next just blew me away. And there's some other twists about the story that happen that I don't want to spoil, but there's things that you see in this game that are just capture my imagination, just feel like an absolute dream, just like some of the best games of all time. This felt like a dream, like a very vivid dream, and it just, oh man, masterpiece, incredible game. I cannot sing enough praises about Returnal. And number two, I'm giving a tie to Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. These are absolutely the two finest games on the Nintendo Switch, and probably the two finest games in the series, which is really saying something. Breath of the Wild was, no pun intended, such a breath of fresh air when it came out. It really, really mixed up the formula in the series that was starting to feel a little bit stale. After Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, this one Breath of the Wild felt much more like the very first game on the NES, where it drops you in the middle of this world, and there's several paths that you could and should take, but it's not super clear. It's open, and you can go anywhere and do anything, and it brought that sense of discovery back that just felt so amazing. And the world was just incredible to explore with all the different side quests that were all so much fun. And then the sequel, this just came out earlier this year. Despite using the same Hyrule map as Breath of the Wild, it really made it feel new and fresh again by introducing sky islands up top and the underground depths underneath, and just having brand new, much more complex, completely fresh puzzles and side quests to do, and a little bit more focus on dungeons. The dungeons were more elaborate this time, and this game was just a masterpiece. I reviewed it recently, and I put 170 hours into completing all the side missions and side quests in Tears of the Kingdom. And as of right now, it's my favorite Zelda game of all time. But both of these really are kind of equal. They just did so many amazing things for their time. And the physics in Breath of the Wild were incredible. The way that you could affect the world and pick up little objects, it was amazing. Everything was interactive. And Tears of the Kingdom introduced these new magic abilities that when I go back and play another open world game, I feel naked without them, without the ascension ability and the fusion ability.
it just really opened up new possibilities with what you could do with the gameplay. And I can't sing enough praises about both of these. They're both just amazing masterpieces, and just absolutely essential for any Switch player. And my number one game of Generation 8 and 9 is, without question, The Last of Us Part 2. Boy, I know this was a divisive game for some people, but I don't care. This game worked for me. This game was so depressing and so bleak and so gut-wrenching. I love stuff like that. If you like depressing movies like Requiem for a Dream or The Deer Hunter or Schindler's List, this game is straight up your alley. I think people that didn't like this game don't like depressing movies like that. This was an amazing continuation of the original masterpiece that in my opinion, I think even topped it a little bit. The original is like The Godfather Part 1, and this one is like The Godfather Part 2, and that it just expands the scope and epic quality of the original, and does so much. And wow, this game hit me hard. I don't want to go into spoilers at all, but this game was just such an emotional roller coaster for me. Incredible game, masterpiece. I don't think it's going to be topped, even though we're still going through Generation 9. I don't think anything is going to top this. This game is just absolutely one of my tip-top favorite games of all time, and this really was a slam dunk. I have no problem putting this above all the others. This was a very easy choice for me, and the story, man, and the stealth gameplay was perfect too. But the story and the characters and the twists and the turns really just hit me hard like no other game has. So there you have it, guys. That is my final list in this little series that I've been doing for the last week or two. This is Generation 8 and 9 combined because there was so much overlap. And we're still going in Generation 9, so there might be some more games that are good that come out. And there's still many more from this time period that I have not played yet. I still have plenty of games on my backlog. But for today, in October of 2023, timestamp, this is what I feel are the 35 best games of Generation 8 and 9 combined, which is the PS4, PS5, 3DS, and Nintendo Switch. Some of these were really hard to hammer down in an exact order, but again, this is how I feel today. It will be massaged over time. But starting at the top, Last of Us Part 2, I don't think that's ever going to change. That game really, like I said, if you like depressing movies like Boys Don't Cry or Requiem for a Dream, then Last of Us Part 2, trust me, you're going to love it. If you don't like movies like that, then you're probably not going to like Last of Us Part 2, but that's your problem. Yeah, and then after that, definitely the two Zeldas on the Switch, Returnal and Elden Ring. Really, those were really just amazing games. And Final Fantasy VII Remake and XCOM 2, these are absolutely 10 out of 10s, without question. And Bayonetta 2, Hollow Knight, and Neo 1, I nudge those to a 10. I'm going to give these games at the top row here a 10 out of 10. And then 9.5 I would give to Final Fantasy 16, Nier Automata, Gravity Rush 1 and 2. Like I said, I'm replaying those right now, and they are just... they're growing even greater for me the more that I play them. They really are surprisingly great titles that just keep on getting better the more that you play them. Mario 3D World, Guilty Gear Strive. Like I said, I'm very new to the series, and I haven't put too much time into this game, but I've put enough to know that this is absolutely a 9.5 out of 10, and one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and definitely has to be on this list. And it's just an incredible fighter. But yeah, Sekiro, that's a 9.5. Link Between Worlds, GTA 5, It Takes Two, Hades, Neo 2, Metroid Dread, Bloodborne. Some of those starting around Sekiro down to Bloodborne, those several games there, I could have tossed them up in any order. Those were really hard to put down, but as of today, that's how I'm going to order them. And then Bayonetta 3, that's right in between a 9 and a 9.5. Maybe I'd nudge it upwards a little bit to a 9.5. Really close. So Final Fantasy 16 through Bayonetta 3, those are the 9.5s. And then starting at Ghost of Tsushima, I gave that a 9. Down to Xenoblade 2 and 3, Forgotten City, Seafood, Titanfall 2, Resident Evil 2, the Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, Shantae and the Seven Sirens, Ghost Runner, Dead Space Remake, Deathloop, Street Fighter 5, and Marvel Spider-Man. That's right in between an 8.5 and a 9. Maybe I'd nudge it to a 9. That was really good. So really all of these, starting at Ghost of Tsushima down to Spider-Man, those are a 9 out of 10. But yeah, once again, this could all be massaged over time, especially with how many more games are still coming out this generation. But yeah, for now, that's my list. That's my final list of this series of what I think are the best games of each generation, starting with the NES up to now with the PS5 and the Switch. What I think are the best games of each generation. And it's been great. It's been a lot of work. And it's been a great time capsule to see what my taste is like right now in October of 2023. And yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Let me know what you think are the best games of Generation 8 and 9 and the other generations that I made lists of earlier this week. And that's it. Have a nice day.